Cydia Tweaks for iOS 9.3.2 through to 9.3.3. So firstly, I've got this tweak. This tweak is called Area LS. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that, but basically what it does, you see this here in the center of my screen, it says 350. And when I go to slide to unlock, that expands into this keypad layout. It just pops into it like that. That is Area LS, and that's all it does. And then you can just put in a passcode. I'm just going to put in a random one there, because I don't want you guys to get my passcode there. And you can also backspace, and then that's to attempt the passcode that you put in. Next up is Anemone. So if I just go into my device, slide over to here into Anemone. Anemone is basically a theming platform. So what you do in here is you disable and enable loads of themes. Currently I'm using the minimal.ios.9.dev theme, and I've just got everything in there enabled. You click apply, it'll give you a preview of what it's going to look like here. Just click apply and it should go ahead and respring your device. As you can see, it's just respringing my device, and then the theme will be applied once it comes back on. As you can see now, that's the theme. Next up is Aporio. But what it does is when you plug it in, it automatically puts the phone into low power mode. Next up is battery life. This is pretty much an essential app. Basically what it does is if you go into the app, what it tells you is it tells you your current charge, it tells you your battery capacity, because after loads and loads of charges your battery capacity does go down. So the iPhone 6 starts off with 1751 milliamp hours of power in the battery. That's the maximum you can get in it, and then after time it goes down and down and down, and then it shows you how long you can spend on all of these with a full charge. Okay, next up is blurry badges. Basically what this does, if I just quickly send a text to myself, there we go, I've now sent a text to myself. As you can see just here on the messages app, the notification is not red, it was green. That's basically all this does. It just changes the colour of the notification bubble that is on the top right of your app to the most dominant colour of the app icon. Next up is Beta Font 3. As you've probably noticed already, my font on my device is not the standard Apple font. It's a custom font. So what you need to do is you need to download your font that you want from Cydia, and then you go into Beta Font 3, click Not Advanced, Basics, and it will bring up your two fonts, your main font and then your font. The font I'm currently using is called Caviar Dreams, and it's free off Cydia. And as you can see, it changes the font wherever you are on your device. Okay, so next up is Cask. Basically what Cask does is, if I go into my settings now, as you can see, there's cool animation when I'm scrolling down and also when I'm scrolling up. Okay, so the next tweak is also inside of the settings application. So if I just go into settings, you may have noticed that all of these are circles. Basically this is done with a tweak called circle icons. It just makes all these circles and it just makes it look a lot nicer. And as you can see in here, we can do rounded corners or we can change it to circle. Next up is Cream. Basically when you toggle on in your control center all these toggles, it changes the colour of them from just a standard white to this, which is the one you're going to be getting in iOS 10 with all these different colours, apart from the Wi-Fi one. It's the same colour as the Bluetooth one in iOS 10. But basically that's what it does. Next up is Cylinder. If you know someone with a jailbroken device, they more than likely than not already have this installed, and this is what happens when you slide through all the pages with it. If I just go down to the settings in here in Cylinder, you can do loads of different effects like bubble, this is bubble. As you can see, it just makes them pop a bit there. But personally, my favourite is of course curl and roll away. Just here. Alright guys, so the next tweak is inside the camera app. So if I just go ahead and take a photo. By the way, you do need to be in the Photos application for this to work. You can't just go on it through the camera app. So now if I go into here, And now if I click the delete button, it'll give me the option to permanently delete the photo and just delete it and send it to my recently deleted. So if you've got an iPhone 6 or below, then obviously you won't have live photos on your camera, only the iPhone 6s does. So now if I just go ahead and, well, take a photo of up there, and then I'll wave in the camera, just there, I've took it, and now I'll wave just there. Now if I go into here and I do a long press, we can see it is a live photo, and it also has audio in it as well. And then as you can hear, and then I'll wave in the camera, just there, I've took it, and I'll wave. Just there. So that is live photos, and the tweak is called Enable Live Photos. So the next tweak is called haptic feedback. Basically, when I click any of these buttons, it vibrates. I click the power button. You may have been able to hear that. You may not have been able to hear that, but it did vibrate. And if I click all the volume buttons on the side here, they do vibrate when I click them. So next up is iCleaner. Now that you're jailbroken, make the most of it. Definitely get iCleaner. You want to enable everything here apart from Cydia sources and turn off message attachments. So now you just go ahead and click clean. It'll just clean up your device here. You will get an ad at the end, but that's just so that the developer can earn some money for all his hard work. As you can see, it is freed up 132 megabytes of storage for me. Just go ahead, click yes. It'll respring your device, and then you'll have saved as much space as it said you had on the application. As you can see, it's now just respringing, and now there's nothing more to do. You've already just saved however many megabytes, gigabytes, whatever from that app. Next up is iFile. I absolutely love iFile. Basically what it does is it allows you to go ahead and browse your full file system. Also, if a developer wants to test a DB, which is basically a Cydia Tweak file on this, then they can go ahead and install it through iFile. Next up is initialize. So what I'm going to do first before I show you guys this tweak is turn off my device. Now I'll go ahead and turn it back on. So as you can see here, my jailbreak's now disabled. For some reason the font stays when it's like this, but as you can see, if I swipe through all here, everything is disabled. So as you know, with this jailbreak it's semi-tethered, so whenever I try to go into Cydia after rebooting it, will just keep on crashing. So basically to fix that, you need to go onto this PP app, click that circle, wait a few seconds, lock your device, I'll give you a notification, and then respring. Once it's resprung, you will be jailbroken. So now if I just go ahead and unlock my device, what initialize does is it just gives you a notification or a pop-up that you are successfully jailbroken. It is a bit buggy at the moment, so as you can see it didn't do it this time, but most of the time it does. The developer just needs to get a couple of bugs patched and then it will be fine. Next up is iOS 10 emojis. So in iOS 10 beta 4 there are some new emojis. So now if I go into the Notes app and I go into the keyboard, I'll just go over to the faces. As you can see here, the emojis do look a bit different, especially these ones. They look a lot more realistic than before, but you can get them on your iOS 9.3.3 jailbroken device. Also, the gun emoji is no longer there. There's a water pistol emoji, as you can see that green one just there. You may have noticed in the top right that my battery icon is a bit different to usual. As you can see, it's just a small circle with a number inside of it. This tweak is called lithium. And if I go into settings and I scroll down to the lithium settings, as you can see in here, there's two themes it comes with. Personally, I use LBI because then I don't need an additional thing to show me my battery percentage, as LBI shows me inside of the ring. Next up is lock glyph. Basically, lock glyph is this little circle at the bottom just there, and basically there, that's what it does. It gives you that lock animation when you put in your thumbprint, it'll just give you that and give you that sound as well. I'll just be quiet so you can hear it. Basically, that's all it does. It's pretty cool. You can download loads of themes for it off of Cydia and just go into the settings, change around the themes for it as well. Next up is long CCB. What this does is when you slide up on here and you just long press on do not disturb, it'll take you into the settings page for that. If I just slide up again and go on to airplane mode, it'll take me up here where I can turn on and turn off airplane mode. Same with Wi-Fi. It'll just take me in like that. It does that for everything down here. I'm not sure if it does it for night shift and calculator. No, it doesn't do it for that, but does it for the top 5 toggles at the top of your control center. Next up is no page dots 7. Basically, as you can see at the bottom, there's no page dots, where usually there's a couple of dots. How many depends on how many pages you've got, but it just helps to add to the minimalism that I'm trying to go for with my themes and my tweaks. That's all it does. It's a free tweak and it just gets rid of the dots at the bottom of your page. Next up is no slow animations. So if I just go down here and go to no slow animations, just here I can turn it up, slower, faster, however fast, however slow I want. As you can see, this is the speed at the moment, just there. And if I just go ahead, turn it down to 0 and click respring, it'll just respring and then I'll be able to show you the new speed. Just here, if I just go into it, here, there is pretty much no animation whatsoever because it's that quick. And that is what no slow animations does. Next up is PokeGo++ for Pokemon Go and PokePatch for Pokemon Go. Basically, these two work hand in hand. PokePatch basically means you can run Pokemon Go on a jailbroken device. I'll just go ahead, turn down the volume there because that was quite loud, and see, first of all you've got a joystick to move here. Next you've got this M button up here. If you click that, you can bring up the settings. You can click on a map to see which Pokemon are nearby. You can click on this, which will just show you all your Pokemon and all the stats. You can also click on this, which is the patrol mode, which basically just walks around and around all over the place to try and hatch your eggs. So as you can see here, I've got 0.00 on this egg, and as my character walks, then it will just add to that egg and hatch some more Pokemon. Also we've got this, which is the speed that you walk button, and this is just tap to walk, so I just tap and then it'll just walk, and then I can just turn it down to 1 times, it'll walk slower, 2 times, it'll walk a bit faster, 4 times, it'll walk way faster. Now, to do like less detectable location spoofing, you just click home to walk home and it'll walk you back home on Pokemon Go just to where you were. And I'll just show you now, because there's a Pidgey come up. If I click on that, it'll just take me to the Pidgey so I can capture him just here. As you can see now, I've caught that Pidgey. I can just go back and then it'll be like this. With the H button, it just hides all the tweaks and modifications it does. To get it back up, you just tap the screen 3 times quickly and then it'll bring it back up just here. To hide all this, click M. Next up is power down. What it does is, if you hold your power button to go ahead and turn off your device, sometimes it's a bit glitchy because it's not being properly optimized, but it gives you the slide to power off, slide to respring, slide to reboot, and slide for safe mode. and it also gives you that cool animation just there when it comes in and when it goes out. Next up is Rocket for Instagram. So if I just go over to Instagram now, as you can see, Instagram has added in stories. So if I just go ahead and watch a bit of Casey Neistat's story,
I always meet new people.
My internet's a bit laggy, so obviously it'll buffer a bit. But if you click that I button,
And that's it. That is my daily commute.
that I button basically means, well, I've seen it. The people know that you've seen it, whose story it is. They only know that you've seen it if you click on that I button there. And also you can save people's stories. So say for example that I want to save, let's say, TextMat story. I want to save something off TextMat story to my camera roll. I'll just click that button there. Then I can choose the image resolution. I'll do 720 by 1280. Click OK. And it'll say save to library. Sorry. I'm just coming here, and as you can see, it's saved to my library. They don't know I've saved it. With this tweak, you can also go ahead and look at people's profile pictures. So I just go to the England official Instagram, just hold down there, and then as you can see, it's loading and it's brought it up in full screen. Also here, just like that, you can go ahead, repost with the repost button. You can go ahead and save them as well from there. Next up is Snap Plus for Snapchat. For some reason, Phantom for Snapchat is not working for me on this version of iOS. So this version of Phantom for Snapchat will have to do. As you can see, you still double tap to turn around and everything like that. So yeah, still works the same. I can do location spoofing from up here. I can add custom filters from up here. I can do group chat and stuff from here. I can upload from my camera roll without having that annoying white border from there. Also, with people's stories, what I can do is I'll just load another story here. I'll just click this button here, and then it'll save it. I'll just click camera roll, and then it'll save to my camera roll without them knowing. I'll go into photos, all photos. As you can see there, it's saved to the camera roll. Next up is Status Fall 2. So as you can see, just up here in the status bar, I'm not sure which one it is. I'll go ahead and change my volume. It's up there instead of having a massive white block in the middle of the screen. Next up is Virtual Home 8 and 9. So as you can see, if I just hold down on it, it's not even holding down, it's just resting my finger on it for a long period of time, well not that long, a couple of seconds. It'll go into here, which is multitasking. Also I can click it to go home from apps, not click it, just rest my finger on it just there, and it'll go home. And that's basically Virtual Home 8 and 9. Next up is Zeppelin. So if I just go down to the Zeppelin settings, just down here, and then unlock it, just there. It'll change straight away after you do that. Next up is 20-second lock screen, and this is the last one. So if you just go ahead, click your home button, this will be on for 20 seconds instead of